Hello and welcome to another session of Mindful Data Mine. This session is in continuation with our previous session related to subsetting in SAS. In previous session, we have discussed about how we can do subset using if statement, and in this session, we will be discussing about where statement along with the difference in two. So to start with, what I'll do is I'll first create a data set and we'll see the results. So I'll write data b1 set SAS help dot cars and I'll simply run this one. So when I run this, a new data set b1 will be created and work, which is having 428 rows and 15 columns. Now assuming that we have the same condition, that we need to select only those records where we have make as Acura. So for this I have simply copied whatever we have written in the first code and I've just made a few changes here. Now we are using where and we'll put where lowercase strip make equals to Acura. So similar to if, where is also a filter which is used to filter out the rows. Now when I'll run this, I'll run the two data sets b1 and b2. So in b1 we are getting 428 rows with make, Acura, Audi, BMW, etc. And if I'll open b2, I'll get only 7 records which are related to Acura. Moving further, let's assume that we have the same requirement, that we need records where MSRP is greater than 30,000. So if I'll write where MSRP greater than 30,000 and if I'll try to run this, let's see the result. What will happen in this case? So in this case, if you see, we are getting 190 records, and in case of if, we are only getting those records which are a part of Acura and having MSRP greater than 30,000. So why is it like we are getting it differently in case of where? Let's check the log for this. So if you go to the log, it says where clause has been replaced, and finally if you see it, where clause which is having MSRP greater than 30,000 has been applied. That's why we are only getting those records which has MSRP greater than 30,000. So what does that mean? This means that we cannot have multiple where statement in SAS. In case of if, we can use multiple if statement, but we can only use one where statement. If we try to use more than one, then in that case only the last one will remain and rest others will be replaced. So in case if we have a requirement like this where we need to get make as Acura and MSRP greater than 30,000, we will need to use and instead of where again. So we'll need to use this. Now if I try to run it, I'll only get records where make is Acura and MSRP is greater than 30,000. Similar to this, we can also use OR condition. So I'm creating another dataset B5 and instead of and I'm putting OR this time. So what this will do is it will check for records where make is equal to Acura or MSRP is greater than 30,000. So for Acura, we are getting 7 records where MSRP can be anything, and for others it will be greater than 30,000 only. Okay, so now a question comes in our mind that If we have if statement and where statement, they both are filters. Why do we have it two? Why don't we have it only one filter? For that, let's check another example. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll create a new data set, data B6A. Okay, set SAS help dot cars, and I'll create a new column, let's say new underscore call, in which I am multiplying MSRP with 10. Okay, and if I'll run this, first check the results. First we will check the results. So we will get MSRP multiplied by 10. So for example, this is 36,945. Then the new column will have 369450. Okay. Now if I try to use if condition here, if new call greater than, let's assume 30000, that is 30,000, and one more zero, that is 300,000. Okay, then it should give me the results. When I'll try to run this, let's see what is the output. We are getting 190 records where the new call value should be greater than 300,000. Okay, and if I try to do same thing using where, let's see what happens. So now I'm creating another data set B6B, and here instead of if, I'll use where. So if I'll run this, let's check the result. So it says total rows equals to 0, total columns equals to 16. Okay, and here if you see this cross is in red, that means there is an error. As discussed earlier, we got error in red color, warning in green, and notes in blue. So what this error says, variable new call is not on file sashelp.cars. What does that mean? So if I talk about where statement, so where runs first. So what it will do is it will scan the data set sashelp.cars, and it can only filter out the data based on the columns which are present inside sashelp.cars. If you are creating any new column, then in that case we can only use if condition or if statement. Hope I'm clear here. So I'll give you another example. Let's understand this with a simple example. When you are going to a restaurant and when you are going to Burger King. So in case of Burger King, you will first pay the bill, then you will place your order, and then you will have the burger. In case of a restaurant, you will first have your meal. After that, in the end, you will have to pay the bill. That means the filter criteria for Burger King is you should have money in your hand. Once you will pay the money, you will get the burger. Whereas the filter criteria for a restaurant is that you will have the dinner first or your meal first, then you will pay the bill. Similar to this, when we talk about where statement, it look for the data set. In this case, it's SAS help.cars, and check for that particular column. If it exists, it will put filter on that particular column. Otherwise, it will return this error that the variable is not on the file. But in case of if, it will fetch the entire data first from sashelp.cars, then it will do the manipulation. Like in this case, we are creating a new column which has a value of MSRP into 10, and finally it will filter out the data, that is new call is greater than 300,000. That's why we are able to get results in case of if statement, but we are not getting any result in case of where statement. Hope I'm able to clear your doubt related to if and where clause here, where statement here. Let me know in the comments in case if you have any other doubt related to if and where clause. I'll see you in the next session. Thank you.